against steel, no time to rest. Battle cries and scream in the night. Under neon stars, mechanical might. Zeros and ones clash, red versus blue. Fate of Zoidstar, time to break through. Metallic warriors march into flame when the Zoidstar spread the electric despair. Surgeons of war, pulse and crimson dream. In the end, who reigns supreme? Men towards laser eyes burning bright. Savage desire of planet's plight. Zoidzilla roars back, guardians call. The chemical chaos will fall. And those of dystopia shadows flame. Digital prowess, war's wicked game. Cosmic wheels scream red, mutant fight. Emerald eyes search for light. Battle cries and scream in the night. Under neon stars, mechanical might. Zeros and ones clash, red versus blue. Fate's on starting to break through. Metallic warriors march into flame when the Zoidstar spread the electric despair. Subject of war, pulse and crimson dream. In the end, who reigns supreme? Metallic warriors march into flame. Planet Zoidstar spread the electric despair. Planet Zoids spread the electric despair. Look for the D-Day invasion on sea. The last great push of the Zoids army. With help from the Dialos Empire Zoid tech, Zoids Zoids will invade and wreck. The Brachios Zoids tear us from the deep. Amphibious Brachios sweep. With beam gun and shot cannon prone to shoot. Their control of the seas we can't dispute. Wait for combat as Brachios invade. Helic Republic Zoids, be not afraid. By the Brachios back into the sea. For the evil empire remain free. The Zoids crushed, the Zoids empire falls. But hell, it cannot rest behind their walls. The Dialos army comes on the attack. Meet them on the battlefield, blow them back. Whoa, whoa. Dialos employs the Brachios Zoid too. But now we have the means to shoot them through. The aquatic Brachiosaurus Zoids, the new hammerhead Zoids, we've them destroyed. Wait for combat as Brachios invade. Helic Republic Zoids, be not afraid. Drive the Brachios back into the sea. For the evil empire remain free. This time the Brachios fade. No longer cutting edge the Zoid shade. But the seas of planet B are not safe. The hammerhead Zoids will still need to stray. Wait for combat as Brachios invade. Helic Republic Zoids, be not afraid. Not afraid. Drive the Brachios back into the sea. For the evil empire remain free.